What is up, fighters? This is a question I get asked a ton, especially after the changes a few patches ago, so we're going to take a proper look at it. At the end of this video, you'll know which one you should get when, and I'm going to say that most people right now are actually buying the wrong one. This video in part is brought to you by the guys over at Pro Guides. You can check them out down below, but this time we do have the fantastic, awful editing by me that you guys know and love. For this video, leave any comment or what you think about the new Season 6 item changes to be featured in a future item video. So first thing, we should probably compare them all, right? What are like the raw stat differences? There are 4 real attack speed options right now. Rapid fire cannon is the most common, so we're going to start with that one. 30% attack speed, 5% movement, 30% crit, and then the passive, which is 50 to 160 damage that scales through the game, and you gain 35% bonus attack range. Static Shiv is the next most similar one, I guess. We get 5% more attack speed, so 35, with still 5% move speed, 30% crit chance. The passive is 50 to 120, so it's slightly lower, but it hits up to 5 targets, does more damage to minions, and the big thing is that damage can actually crit. Phantom Dancer used to be terrible, but it did get a few buffs. So 45% attack speed now, way above the others, but still 5% move speed and 30% crit. The passive is completely different though. It grants you bonus move speed when near champions, and the bigger one, 12% damage reduction against the last champion you hit. Last option is Runan's Hurricane, and this one is way more situational, but we're going to get into that later in this video. 40% attack speed, 7% move speed, 30% crit, and the passive, so you have 15 on hit damage, and your autos now hit 2 nearby targets, though their damage is slightly reduced. So really looking at all of these, the basics are pretty similar, like the stat choices, right? It's the passives that make all the difference. The first most common one is Rapid Fire Cannon. This is what most people buy at the moment, but actually it's not that good anymore. Let's bring up Shiv onto the screen. We get slightly more attack speed with the Shiv, which is nice, but the passive damage is the difference. Rapid Fire Cannon is slightly higher, right? But it doesn't crit, and Shiv does, and that is what we're looking at. Shiv's crit scales with crit strikes, so like if you get this and then Essence Reaver or Infinity Edge, you'll have 50% chance to do even more damage. In general, Shiv is good for like team fights anyway, because you only need to hit one extra person to do more than the rapid fire proc would, but if it crits, then Shiv will do even more damage to a single target. Especially if you're rushing an Infinity Edge, then this is great because the bonus crit damage on an Infinity Edge also affects the Shiv crit, so it'll do even more. Champions that rush an Infinity like Ashe, Caitlyn, or Jinx don't really have that much ability damage. They rely completely on their auto attacks, and Shiv gives like a nice boost mid game to cover up that damage a little bit. Basically, Shiv is now a go-to attack speed item. It's better wave clear and better damage in theory too. Let me just say rapid fire isn't bad, okay, but we should have a specific reason if we're going to buy it. Like on Jhin, for example, you can combine your 4th shot and rapid fire to get a long range crit off, and that is really nice. Also, like a Draven can do the same with his Q and get a long range high damage auto attack off. If you want to siege towers rather than fight, then it'll also be better, but let's be honest, like solo Q is normally just fight, not really major strategy side. So that's a basic go-to down. Let's bring up the Phantom Dancer next. It's actually more crit and basically better late game. The thing is, as I'm making this video now, the meta is very mid game centric, and the Shiv proc damage will actually do more work than this extra attack speed. If we're not going to buy it for the attack speed, then why would we, I guess? So it's actually 2 things. If we rely on attack speed heavily for our damage, like a Vayne for example, then she actually gets a lot out of Phantom Dancer. The second thing is the passive. Against assassins is pretty good in theory. You have the 12% damage reduction, which can help you survive, and I've been testing this a lot, and actually, I don't really like it. It's less damage, and personally, I prefer more damage with the Shiv to like try and burst them down and kill them. Now, theory crafting wise, that is a really stupid idea. I'm just going to say that is really dumb, and Phantom Dancer would be better. If you get one shot, there's no point, okay? Like against a Talon or something, you're going to die anyway, but maybe against a Zed who takes a bit more time, or like an Irelia, this would actually help. Late game, it's really good. The damage reduction comes into effect more because you have more health and they're doing more damage, and the attack speed means more. Basically, like the later the game is, the more damage your auto attacks actually do, so the better attack speed is. One problem with getting this second, like early into the game, is you miss out on the shard. This thing, I can't pronounce the name, okay? But this thing builds into Shiv and rapid fire cannon. It's only 750 gold. It gives us 15% attack speed, which is the same as Zeal, but a nice 40 damage bonus on the passive. That is actually pretty nice for the end of lane phase, so it definitely has a better build path in my opinion. Last one, let's bring up Runens. I actually have a full video on this coming soon because there's a lot to say, but let's cover the basic stuff of why and when. So stat wise, like more attack speed than Shiv, more move speed, same crit chance, but the on hit damage, and you hit 2 extra people. You only want to build this when you have a specific reason to do it, and let's go through the main ones. Kalista has her E that stacks on more people, Cog has his Bio Arcane Barrage, his W that deals the % damage to extra people, Twitch applies poison to everyone, and when Ash's Q is active, that fires the volley to everyone, and like even Jinx fires the AoE rockets off, which is crazy. These are all really specific synergies that work well with Runens and give you a specific reason to buy it, but if you don't have a specific reason, then don't. Get the others, but the synergy on this can be really good. Let's sum it up to end this video. So Shiv is a go-to now. The passive can crit and it adds a lot of damage, especially in team fights. Rapid fire cannon is nice if we have a specific reason to hit from long range or we want to take towers. Phantom Dancer is amazing late game. It's great for people who rely on attack speed for their damage and arguably very good against assassins with the damage reduction. Runens is only worth it if you have a specific synergy with the extra bolt, so you have something in your kit to apply to those extra targets. Remember to check out Pro Guys, the links will be down below. You can also check out their YouTube channel if you want to do that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Remember to comment to be featured in a future video. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and for now it's time for a bit of robots.